Cuban lawmakers on Thursday unanimously approved sweeping reforms that would privatize a vast swath of the country's socialist economy. The list of more than 175 measures includes opening the door to private real estate development and proposals to transform state-owned businesses into private commercial ventures. It would also allow private banks to enter Cuba, as well as the sale of state-owned properties to national and foreign entities, including Cubans residing abroad. Here's Cuban Prime Minister Manuel Marrero.
These are proposals to confront the crisis, opening a transformative window that, if not implemented now, could bring irreversible political and social consequences. But I want to reiterate that these transformations do not represent a departure from the socialist project. On the contrary, they follow the logic of its own development.
If implemented, the measures would represent the single largest change to the Caribbean island socialist model since former leader Fidel Castro's 1959 revolution. They are backed by the Communist Party and his brother, former leader Raul Castro. In a written letter to lawmakers, he called them, quote, beneficial and urged their speedy implementation. The move comes amid punishing U.S. sanctions, including a months-long oil blockade. But Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel told lawmakers it was not related to negotiations between the two countries. He also urged them to keep faith in the country's socialist past.
What we are defending here, above all, is the question of how to continue the process of building socialism. How to build socialism in a country which has suffered the longest, most criminal blockade in history by the most powerful country in the world.
Premier Mark Brantley of the Nevis Island Administration recently disclosed that NEVLEC will be reinstating the fuel surcharge on electricity usage by residential customers and removing the cap on the 65 cents for commercial consumers. Premier Brantley said the NIA's subsidy on fuel for electricity generation amounted to $28.9 million over the past 4 years, enabling residential consumers to have electricity at an affordable rate. He explained, however, the current sustained volatility in oil prices coming as a result of the Gulf War has made the subsidy unsustainable, and the board of NEVLEC required the reinstating of the fuel surcharge to support fuel purchasing for electricity generation. As a consequence, the Premier called on Nevis residents to be conservative in their use of electricity while affirming a re-examination of the surcharge once the global oil situation improves.
So I'm here tonight to say as the Premier of Nevis that this is not intended to be a permanent arrangement. This is intended for us to partner, government and people, government and NEVLEC, to try our very best to get past this very difficult period. The government is no longer able to carry 100% of the cost of subsidizing electricity to householders in Nevis. And that's just the honest truth. And I feel that the record of my government in providing relief to the people of Nevis on this issue of fuel surcharge is a record that is unmatched. Because for the last 4 years, householders in Nevis paid zero in fuel surcharge. And businesses in Nevis had a cap of 65 cents. We held the line, ladies and gentlemen, for as long as we could. We're now in a position where we're saying we cannot hold the line any longer. And we're asking you now to step up and step in and help us to keep the lights on. Help us to help NEVLEC to pay for the diesel that it needs to ensure that the service to which we become accustomed continues. And along the way, we're urging you to take more responsibility for your own consumption by controlling the amount of electricity that you consume and not wasting it. Not wasting it. That is going to be critically important to help you at the household level control the amount that you're spending. We have committed, and let me repeat, that this is a temporary measure.
The cost of oil prices globally has been escalating or been highly unstable following the U.S.-Israel war against Iran and the consequential damage Iran inflicted on other oil-producing Gulf states and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Glenn Bart reporting for Television Caribbean, TVC Channel 40.
Citizens who still may be interested in applying for a visa to the United States, despite the added requirements of the Visa Bond Pilot Program, are being provided with a checklist to follow. This, according to Permanent Secretary with responsibility for Foreign Affairs, Roxy McLeish Hutchinson, stemmed from continuous daily engagements with U.S. border officials. Grenada was one of many countries affected by the recently initiated U.S. Visa Bond Pilot Program, under which some applicants may be required to pay a refundable bond as a condition for receiving a U.S. visa.
Applicants must follow the standard U.S. visa application process, the process that we have grown accustomed to. Schedule an interview at the United States Embassy or consulate, pay the regular visa application fee, and request an interview with the consular officers at the embassy.
She notes that the bond payments must be done within 30 days via a website provided by the consular officer.
Now, during the visa interview, we have been advised by our colleagues at the U.S. Embassy that a consular officer will determine eligibility of our citizens to get a visa. If the applicant falls under the pilot program, they may be required to post a bond of between $5,000 to $15,000 US. It is important to note that the visa will be temporarily refused or temporarily approved under administrative processing while the bond is arranged.
The Permanent Secretary adds that the applicant or authorized agent should then submit a I-352 immigration bond form as well as the full amount of the bond.
Once online payment has been confirmed, the processing continues. If approved, the visa will be a single entry visa, valid for 3 months. Entry to the United States is still the prerogative of the consular and border control officers.
Hutchinson explains that the visa will include a note indicating that the bond was posted and applicants have a 30-day limit to stay in the U.S. Upon returning to Grenada from the United States, she explained that a compliant citizen will be refunded based on the conditions of acceptance.
If the traveler leaves the United States on time, the traveler does not use the visa, and if entry is denied at the port of entry, the refund confirmation is issued via an I-395 bond cancellation notice.
The Permanent Secretary says if automatic refunds lapses, then citizens may request a manual refund by visiting the U.S. consulate within 30 days of departing the United States.
Providing proof of leaving the United States, and some examples include boarding passes, passport stamps in your passport, work, school, or financial records showing presence outside of the United States.
Hutchinson notes that the bond can be forfeited if the traveler overstays the authorized period, violates the visa conditions, or fails to comply with U.S. immigration requirements.
Based on this new policy, we have been advised that a limit of 30 days will be granted, but we urge that you pay attention to the stamp in your passport, as there may be variances in the time given based on the interviews conducted at the borders.
I am Gerard Joseph reporting.
This is Battle of the Fittest!
Are you ready? From June 28 to July 4 of 2026, it's the Battle of the Fittest 10 basketball tournament, live from the legendary L.B. Scott Sports Auditorium, featuring top teams from across the Caribbean: St. Kitts, Statia, Dominica, St. Martin, British Virgin Islands, Dominican Republic, Curacao, Aruba, $10,000 grand prize. This is where legends are made. The Battle of the Fittest 10 Basketball Tournament, June 28 to July 4, 2026. LB Scott Sports Auditorium. Only the strongest will survive.
This is war! This summer, the Caribbean's premier music experience returns. Welcome to the 28th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival, featuring the incredible Kilani, Fantasia, Beres Hammond, Luciano, Soca King Marshall Montano, Soca Sensation Voice, and Vaughn. Dancehall giant Movado, Idonia, and the new wave, Valiant. Also featuring Massacre, Cranium, Taurus Riley, Steel Pulse, Dean Fraser and the Black Soil Band, Shanil Mir, Diani, Rodney Tatat, and Zoo. The legendary New Vibes Band International, Brandon and ASAP Band, Shelly and Signal Band, plus Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Lucas HE, and Garlic and the Upper Level Band. June 25th to June 27th, Warner Park Cricket Stadium, St. Kitts. Get your tickets now at stkittsmusicfestival.com. The St. Kitts Music Festival, where music meets paradise.
A new day begins. The sun rises over St. Martin, bringing new energy, new possibilities. This island was built on resilience, progress, and the strength of its people. Our connection is what moves us forward. It links our communities, our businesses, our families. From the heart of the island to the shores beyond, we've connected St. Martin. From every street to every home, this network was built for St. Martin by St. Martin hands. Connection isn't just about signals, it's about people. This is your island and your network recharged. Proudly local, we're here for today, tomorrow, and every milestone ahead.
At The Cable, we believe in giving back because when our community thrives, we all do. That's why, as a company, we make it our mission to touch the lives of everyone in St. Kitts. We spearheaded the renovation of JNF Hospital lobby to ensure better care for all. The Cable sponsors free Wi-Fi in every community center across St. Kitts, so no one is left behind in an increasingly connected world. We stand with communities through every moment, big or small, in culture, education, youth development, and more. Y a ti también, comunidad latina. Cuenta con nosotros. Estamos con ustedes. And when it comes to customer service, we set the standard. We're just a call, click, or visit away because you matter to us. Join the company that truly cares. The Cable. More than service. We're family. Somos familia. And we're proud to always give more where it matters.
Lace your sneakers, grab a friend, and get ready for Praise Fest 2026, the Federation's premier gospel concert, in collaboration with St. Kitts Music Festival. Join us on the Antioch Baptist Church grounds as we praise with Tehillah Gospel Band, Unique Touch Christian Center Praise, Brent Hoyt, Positive, and Chevel Franklin. Earthen Vessels will start it off with praise and worship. This all goes down June 21st, 2026, starting at 5:30 p.m. on the Antioch Baptist Church grounds. Secure your tickets at Sister Beverly on 4th Street, Westside Service Center. The Cable, Island Flavors, Charlestown, Nevis, or any member of the Antioch Baptist Church. Or you can go online at www.antiochbaptistskn.org. Islander Water Taxis providing $40 round trip from Nevis to St. Kitts. Be first in line for an unforgettable evening.
A technological collaboration has resulted in improved safety at Cockleshell Bay and the ability of businesses operating on the beach to provide point-of-sale technology for the convenience of customers and business operators. The improvements were made possible through a collaborative project between the Cable, the NTRC, Skellig, and the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. The heightened security measures and technology support the growing travel and leisure activities. Patricia Walters, CEO of St. Kitts Nevis Cable Communications, commented on the progress that was made to enhance safety and security while assisting business operations.
Do you remember coming off the water taxi, turning on your flashlight to make sure you didn't fall in the pit holes down there as you navigated the sand? Well, that's gone now. We have excellent lighting. Thank you, Skelec. Public Works, NTRC, Ministry of National Security. So we now have cameras all the way down from Spice Mill down to Reggae Beach. We have electricity all the way down, so no generators. We have cameras that are triple redundant. So we have power, we have batteries, and we have solar. And so it isn't just connecting for safety and security, it's connecting for commercial as well. Because we now have all the shops on the strip, like Cockle Bay Ship, that now have Wi-Fi, that now use their electronic point of sale terminals because there's data there. And so it really is connecting for everybody.
Meanwhile, other projects undertaken by the cable will further enhance quality of service and depth of availability all around St. Kitts. Glenn Bart reporting for Television Caribbean, TVC Channel 40.
In the meantime, the opposition says it notes the inconsistencies in the statements given by the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, when asked who initiated the talks with the United States government for the third country national arrangement. Dr. Chang, during post-cabinet press briefing Wednesday morning, told the country that it was the United States that approached the Jamaican government. He did so again in Parliament a few hours later. But according to a Gleaner article published on Thursday, former ambassador to the United States and government minister Audrey Marks reportedly made the proposal via a diplomatic note.
The two positions can't both be true. And I think there is a basis for this matter to be referred to the Privileges Committee of Parliament so that the question of whether the Minister of National Security lied to Parliament yesterday can be looked into and investigated and dealt with appropriately. And I'm calling for that to be done because we cannot have a situation where ministers of government in Parliament on their feet answering questions about matters of state are not being scrupulously truthful to the public in Parliament.
From unpredictable rains to thinning soils, the threat to food and water security is no longer a distant warning, it is a daily reality. This year's global focus turns to rangelands, massive ecosystems that encompass savannas, grasslands, and wetlands. While often overlooked, these regions are vital to Caribbean livelihoods, biodiversity, and climate resilience. They are often mistaken for empty spaces, but ecosystems like Livea wetlands, Mount Hartman, and Guanetang Forest Reserve are the living skin of our nation. Globally, rangelands cover over half the Earth's surface. Locally, they are critical to our survival. But according to Executive Director of the Partnership Initiative for Sustainable Land Management, Dr. Ronan Francis, that skin is being wounded. He said farmers across the Caribbean are facing a shifting climate, rains arriving late, rivers narrowing, and agricultural yields falling. Issuing a somber reminder, the executive director stated that when we wound the earth, we wound ourselves.
This is why today is not merely an observance. It is a call to conscience. A call to every leader, every policymaker, every farmer, every citizen, to treat our land not as a resource to be extracted, but as a living partner to be protected. To recognize means acknowledging the full value of our rangelands and soils, not only their economic worth, but their cultural, ecological, and spiritual significance to the communities who have stewarded them for generations.
The response to this crisis is a call to action built on 3 pillars: recognize, respect, and restore. Respecting indigenous and local farming knowledge and restoring degraded lands with sustainable soil management.
In our region, this work is already underway. Through the Caribbean Seeds Soil Care Program, funded by the Global Environmental Facility and implemented with the support of the Food and Agriculture Organization, we are promoting sustainable land management, land degradation neutrality, and the restoration of degraded landscapes across 14 Caribbean countries. This is not a project on paper. It is real action on real ground for real communities.
Dr. Ronin impressed that the timing is critical as regional leaders look ahead to the United Nations COP17 summit in Mongolia this August. There is a unified push to take the Caribbean story to the world stage, demanding that land degradation in small developing states be placed at the center of the global climate agenda. I am Gerard Joseph reporting.
This is Battle of the Fittest!
Are you ready? From June 28 to July 4 of 2026, it's the Battle of the Fittest 10 basketball tournament, live from the legendary LB Scott Sports Auditorium, featuring top teams from across the Caribbean: St. Kitts, Statia, Dominica, St. Martin, British Virgin Islands, Dominican Republic, Curacao, Aruba. $10,000 grand prize. This is where legends are made. The Battle of the Fittest 10 basketball tournament, June 28 to July 4, 2026. LB Scott Sports Auditorium. Only the strongest will survive.
This is war! This summer, the Caribbean's premier music experience returns. Welcome to the 28th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival, featuring the incredible Kilani, Fantasia, Beres Hammond, Luciano, Soca King Marshall Montano, Soca Sensation Voice, and Vaughn. Dancehall giant Movado, Idonia, and the new wave, Valiant. Also featuring Massacre, Cranium, Taurus Riley, Steel Pulse, Dean Fraser and the Black Soil Band, Shanil Mir, Diani, Rodney Tatat, and Zoo. The legendary New Vibes Band International, Brandon and ASAP Band, Shelly and Signal Band, plus Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Lucas HE, and Garlic and the Upper Level Band. June 25th to June 27th, Warner Park Cricket Stadium, St. Kitts. Get your tickets now at stkittsmusicfestival.com. The St. Kitts Music Festival, where music meets paradise.
A new day begins. The sun rises over St. Martin, bringing new energy, new possibilities. This island was built on resilience, progress, and the strength of its people. Our connection is what moves us forward. It links our communities, our businesses, our families. From the heart of the island to the shores beyond, we've connected St. Martin. From every street to every home, this network was built for St. Martin by St. Martin hands. Connection isn't just about signals, it's about people. This is your island and your network recharged. Proudly local, we're here for today, tomorrow, and every milestone ahead.
At The Cable, we believe in giving back because when our community thrives, we all do. That's why, as a company, we make it our mission to touch the lives of everyone in St. Kitts. We spearheaded the renovation of JNF Hospital lobby to ensure better care for all. The Cable sponsors free Wi-Fi in every community center across St. Kitts, so no one is left behind in an increasingly connected world. We stand with communities through every moment, big or small, in culture, education, youth development, and more. Y a ti también, comunidad latina. Cuenta con nosotros. Estamos con ustedes. And when it comes to customer service, we set the standard. We're just a call, click, or visit away because you matter to us. Join the company that truly cares. The Cable, more than service. We're family. Somos familia. And we're proud to always give more where it matters.
Lace your sneakers, grab a friend, and get ready for Praise Fest 2026, the Federation's premier gospel concert, in collaboration with St. Kitts Music Festival. Join us on the Antioch Baptist Church grounds as we praise with Tehillah Gospel Band, Unique Touch Christian Center Praise, Brent Hoyt, Positive, and Chevel Franklin. Earthen Vessels will start it off with praise and worship. This all goes down June 21st, 2026, starting at 5:30 p.m. on the Antioch Baptist Church grounds. Secure your tickets at Sister Beverly on 4th Street, Westside Service Center, The Cable, Island Flavors, Charlestown Nevis, or any member of the Antioch Baptist Church. Or you can go online at www.antiochbaptistskn.org. Islander Water Taxis providing $40 round trip from Nevis to St. Kitts. Be first in line for an unforgettable evening.
Opposition People's National Party is calling on the Prime Minister to remove Dr. Andrew Wheatley from the cabinet after recommendations for the MP to be charged with illicit enrichment.
Additionally, the opposition is questioning whether the Prime Minister was notified of the Integrity Commission's investigation before Dr. Wheatley was appointed to the cabinet.
Jamila Maitland has this report.
From providing false information to the Integrity Commission, to not readily providing information, to not being able to provide supporting information. These are just a few of the patterns outlined in the IC's report that recommended charges be brought against Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of the Prime Minister with responsibility for science, technology and special projects, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, for illicit enrichment. Opposition spokesman on finance, Julian Robinson.
Anyone who operates like this, whose own credibility cannot stand the test of scrutiny, should not be a member of a cabinet. And so, in closing, we are reiterating our call for Dr. Wheatley to be removed immediately from the cabinet.
The report, which was tabled in the Parliament on Wednesday, outlined that Dr. Andrew Wheatley acquired $164 million between 2013 and 2022. However, there was insufficient evidence that it was supported through lawful means.
Now, the Integrity Commission said it wrote to Dr. Andrew Wheatley in January 2024 with an illicit enrichment notice, informing him that he was being investigated. Now, according to the opposition, that was long before the general election and even longer before Dr. Andrew Wheatley was appointed to the cabinet by the Prime Minister. Now, the opposition questioned, did Dr. Andrew Wheatley inform the Prime Minister that he was being investigated?
Did he hide that information from the Prime Minister? If he hid that information from the Prime Minister, it's more reason for the Prime Minister to remove him from the cabinet now. If he shared that information with the Prime Minister, why did the Prime Minister appoint him, notwithstanding that knowledge? The Prime Minister has an obligation to not only dismiss him, but to tell the public if he knew that he was under investigation.
But this is not the first time that Dr. Andrew Wheatley has been at the center of an investigation. Back in 2018, the Auditor General's report uncovered several instances of nepotism and cronyism at Petrojam. He was the energy minister at the time. And while he denied any wrongdoings, he resigned from cabinet. Opposition leader Mark Golding said he should be removed this time around.
If we want Jamaica to become a stronger society, to attract more investment from sources that are reputable and who we would like to do business with, and so on, we can't allow our state of affairs in government to degenerate in a serious way like this. And to have somebody in the cabinet with these charges over them, that would be a serious blot on our country, and I think would be unprecedented to the best of my knowledge.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Visitor arrivals from the United Kingdom has seen record decline, and the recent St. Lucia Tourism Authority deal with the Arsenal Football Club is set to bring increased arrivals from that market. The opposition leader on Thursday expressed concern about the cost of the venture and by what means were the funds generated. While he welcomes this partnership, which will positively impact the economy, the former finance minister notes that increasing the country's debt to GDP ratio through such deals is utterly poor governance.
That would be a fantastic thing if the Prime Minister and Hilaire
and Thaddeus, who are great Arsenal fans, right, use their leverage to convince Arsenal that St. Lucia needs the help, and they can testify for St. Lucia, and they're going to do this deal for free. We would be all celebrating in the streets together. But we don't know.
Mr. Shastney recalled a proposal which would cost the government $1 million for free flights per week, with Virgin Airlines bringing about 32,000 visitors annually to St. Lucia. He recalled a deal which went south with an African country, which makes him question whether the deal was paid out of pocket.
Rwanda was paying Arsenal £10 million a year. And for 8 years, £80 million. I would find that hard to believe. Because $35 million is more than what St. Lucia spends globally on marketing. So it wouldn't make sense.
The creation of a football academy was also questioned, since the St. Lucia Sports Academy has been showing results through the athletes' performances regionally and internationally. Mr. Shastney says the focus should be internal investment in local sporting agencies so that the skills of the island's athletes can be refined for the world stage.
If that is what they've been doing, how am I to believe that there's legitimacy in what we're talking about in building a new academy? But I would have to hear what the deal is. But again, no transparency. They want to give us the sugar without giving us what the details are for people to make the determination for themselves as to whether this was a good deal or not.
For the DPS News World, Manasseh Stanislas reporting.
Opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed has formally written to APNU chairman Aubrey Norton, contending that the appointments of opposition-nominated GCOM commissioners Charles Corbin, Desmond Trotman, and Vincent Alexander no longer reflect the current parliamentary opposition and should be replaced. In his June 10 correspondence, Mohammed argued that the constitutional purpose of opposition involvement in GCOM appointments is to ensure meaningful representation and confidence within the Elections Commission. He said the current opposition configuration in Parliament is significantly different from the one that existed when the commissioners were originally appointed. Mohammed further disclosed that he is considering advising President Afrin Ali to appoint 3 new opposition-nominated commissioners. Among those being considered are Senior Counsel Royce Dilford, Attorney-at-Law Sayan Dejean, and Attorney-at-Law Damian De Silva. The opposition leader said the names remain preliminary, while inviting APNU and other opposition stakeholders to submit alternative nominees before June 19. He also proposed a consultative meeting later this month before a final list is submitted to the President and GCOM. But Aubrey Norton has categorically rejected Mohammed's position. In a sharply worded response, the APNU chairman said the premise of Mohammed's proposal is fundamentally flawed, both in fact and in law. Norton argued that there are currently no vacancies within GCOM and maintained that the Constitution does not provide for the automatic termination of commissioners merely because there has been a change in opposition leadership or parliamentary representation. He said Mohammed's reliance on Articles 161 and 161(3)b of the Constitution is misplaced and insisted that those provisions relate to appointments, not the removal or replacement of incumbent commissioners. Norton also took issue with Mohammed's assertion that the seats of the 3 opposition-advised commissioners have become vacant by operation of law, describing the interpretation as unprecedented and unsupported by any constitutional provision, judicial authority, or established practice. The APNU chairman further suggested that any discussion about such changes should instead be considered by the Constitutional Reform Commission and not pursued through an incorrect interpretation of the Constitution. With Mohammed now pressing ahead with consultations on possible nominees and Norton rejecting the very basis of the proposal, the dispute appears far from over and could ultimately require legal clarification. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
The SL Horses St. Paul's United Football Club is making its long-awaited return to the Elvis Star Brown Women's League after an absence of several years. The newly formed St. Paul's United Sparks will be one of the league's fresh faces this season, generating excitement and renewed enthusiasm throughout the St. Paul's community. Team manager Destiny Morris shared insight into the composition of the squad and the vision behind the club's return to women's football.
There were women from the community and the younger girls that we had from the under 14 2 years back, and they were interested in, starting the older team and bringing it back from long time ago. I think the last time we played was maybe 2012. So it was just a bit of that motivation and expanding the club on a whole. So far we have about 23 players, mostly ranging from about 15 to 18, and then we have a few older ones. When we announced it, it was a lot of support, a lot of encouragement, and the children really came out, the girls really came out, the women came back from other teams, and the support is there from management, from the community, from parents, even from the senior men. The support is there.
While the St. Paul's United men's program has enjoyed considerable success in recent years, the women's team is focused on laying a strong foundation. For the Sparks, success this season will be measured not only by results on the field, but also by the growth and development of the players as the program continues to rebuild.
A successful season would be development in the girls. That's the goal, to develop the girls' skills and the knowledge of football, to encourage more girls, especially the younger ones coming up, to be interested in football, and just to go out and have fun, for them to not to win every game, not to go out and just look to win the season because we know we're young, we just coming back into the women's league, but it's just to see development and growth, and just to continue to grow the women's team.
Morris also extended an appeal to supporters across the St. Paul's community, encouraging them to rally behind the Sparks with the same passion and commitment they have consistently shown the club's men's team.
Well, I would encourage all of our fans to come out and support, starting on Saturday at 7 p.m, our first game against Mapao Kenyan Rockets. And just to come out, support the girls. It's a young team, they're willing, they're able, they're competitive enough to go out and face the big giants that they will see. So just to come out and give them support, and they'll put their best foot forward with all the encouragement that they get.
It is the morning after an iconic day here in New York City. Lower Manhattan literally ground to a halt for much of the day yesterday as the NBA champion New York Knicks rode through the city's Canyon of Heroes. The NYPD estimates, get this, 2 million people joined the celebration. And Lilia, Luciano, and myself, we were among them, but you had a great front row seat. Lilia, good morning. How thrilling was it?
I had a privileged seat, in the middle where the press was, but you were right in the thick of it, Errol. And as you know, a lot of people say that New Yorkers sometimes are known to be a little rough around the edges. This day, there was a camaraderie that brought the whole city together in such an emotional way under the banner of its beloved New York Knicks.
The Canyon of Heroes welcomed a sea of orange and blue Thursday morning. Finals MVP, Captain Clutch himself, Jalen Brunson, held on to the Larry O'Brien trophy, sharing the feeling with fans.
What would you tell Jalen Brunson?
I'd probably start crying, right? And then I'd give him a hug and say, you did it for me. You did it for the little guys.
But even the mighty King of New York had a moment of disbelief when he looked out at the crowd of 2 million delirious fans.
Damn, we really did it, dog.
Although the Knicks won 2 titles in the 70s, this was their first ever ticker tape parade.
Exhilarating.
It united a city so often divided in sports and beyond, with fans packing trains and streets at the crack of dawn.
5 a.m. I know there's some people that have been here since 12.
Ben Stiller, the unofficial team mascot Timothy Chalamet, and the Knicks' #1 fan Spike Lee all made special appearances, as did Knicks legends Patrick Ewing and Walt Clyde Frazier. And under a confetti blizzard...
One last time, New York, say it with me. Knicks in! Knicks in!
New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani awarded the Knicks the keys to the city.
For as long as we live, we will remember this feeling of a city together, a city alive, a city overcome by happiness.
Alicia Keys unlocked that magical feeling, singing what has quickly become the anthem of the Knicks championship run.
There is nothing you can't do after that win. It was so packed.
Yeah.
One of the team's bench players was not allowed in with the rest of the team because the NYPD thought he was a police officer. People had to intervene. Tyler Kolek finally, and then he tweeted, "Bro, I'm in the team. I'm on the team."
I got to be among the fans.
I think you actually had the best experience.
Look at this footage, Leah. I couldn't believe how many people.
And in the subway, your selfie video coming out of the subway, Errol, was amazing.
But here's the thing. As you see all these people who were sitting on a scaffolding just to catch a glimpse, everybody cooperated with one another. People were peaceful, joyful, and I've never seen the cities. Look at this. All these people in an illegal place, but no one really bothered.
Nobody bothered. It was just peaceful. Everybody was just celebrating. Did you see the video? There's a video of people on both sides of the barricades, a grown man playing tic-tac-toe with a child.
I believe it.
And beating him, and then the police officer intervened and said, "Come on, he's a kid, dude."
Yeah.
It was really funny. I'm not going to continue the story because there's language involved, but find it. It's a great video.
I'm sure you saw it all. Lilia, thank you so much. You covered it.